Now we're on day 5 of President Putin's invasion of Ukraine. A quick reminder of where things are at, how it began and where things are at right now. Remember, it started last Thursday, February the 24th, early in the morning. That's when Russia declared this full-scale invasion of Ukraine. February 25th is when Russia captured the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. They surrounded it with their tanks. That was the big action on the next day. February 26th, missile attacks began on the capital city of Kyiv and the second largest city of Kharkiv, where I'm going to take you in just a moment. On February the 27th, Putin put his nuclear deterrent forces on totally high alert. And finally, February 28th is when the crucial talks are now underway as we bring you this broadcast, in fact, between Russia and Ukraine on the Belarusian and Ukrainian, on the Ukrainian border is where those talks are actually happening at this time. I want to now tell you what's happening in Kharkiv. It happens to be the second largest city of Ukraine, but that is where some of the worst fighting and the worst violence has actually taken place. Let's show you some of those images and tell you what it actually looks like. Before that, give you a sense on the map of where Kharkiv is. Remember, this is Kyiv. This is the national capital of Ukraine. Somewhere around here on the Belarus and Ukraine border is where the talks are taking place. And this is Kharkiv. So it's due east about 300 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, from Kyiv is where Kharkiv is. Let's show you pictures of what's happening in Kharkiv right now. The city has witnessed fresh overnight shelling by troops from Russia with missiles, rockets and artillery shells. Blasts were also heard in the city of Kyiv and Kharkiv early this morning. Ukraine's State Service of Special Communications and Information Protection has reported very intense fighting here. The Indian Embassy has corroborated that. The city has worn a devastated look in images accessed earlier today. Several Ukrainian civilians were reported killed in massive firefighting overnight. Ukraine admits that at least 352 nationals, including service personnel, have been killed and over 1,600 have been injured. Kyiv also says that its forces have killed over 4,500 Russian soldiers. These are massive claims to make, and they remain in the realm of claims with no corroborations of any kind so far. I want to take you back to Rajesh Pawar, who's live with us from Kyiv. He's been reporting on everything that's been happening in the city since curfew was lifted. Rajesh, you've been up close with areas that have been damaged, in missile fire since the last few days. Where are things at right now? All eyes are on those peace talks as well. But what's happening in Kyiv right now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rajesh.
Just give me a second. Let me probably, there's the call also on. Just give me a second. Let me disconnect it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Rajesh. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to show you around. I'm right now in Maidan at the Independence Square, the nerve center of political activity, of nationalism, of patriotism in Kyiv. I'm right now there. If you could see behind me is the Independence Square. I've just come back after a conducted tour of journalists by the Ukrainian government. We saw 2 bomb sites, a place where an apartment block has been bombed, and second place, again, a residential area which was bombed. Do you hear me clearly, please?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Rajesh. If I can't hear you, I'll tell you. Go ahead. Keep going.
So, as far as talks are concerned, as I had predicted yesterday, and I was very certain about this, these talks will fail. And not only me, the people in Ukraine, people in Kyiv knew this, that these talks are mere formality, because none of the side wants to be seen as someone who is running away from peace. And the moment these talks fail tonight, Kyiv is expecting a huge invasion, a huge burst of missiles, rockets, whatever Russia has got. Its might will be unleashed over Kyiv tonight if the talks fail. And that is what everyone is expecting, and that's what I expect. Over to you.
Talking about this.